Hey guys, welcome to the Career Switch community. It's your host Shad Shafiq, and on this call, we have a mixture of students and prospective customers who are looking to join us on the program. And we're ultimately here to give you a taster as to how we work and to answer any questions that you have whatsoever. In this workshop, we're going to be covering how to become a business analyst, a project manager, or a data BI analyst, even if you don't have a relevant experience. And without spending thousands of pounds going back to university, we'll be sharing proven strategies on this call, which will give you, take away, basically skills and pure insight where you can implement straight away and get instant and insane results. Now, I invited students who recently secured a job where they're coming from like sales background, admin backgrounds, even international students, and I managed to secure high-profile jobs. And they'll be sharing their journey as to how they managed to secure the role. Now, just before we go into that, this is being shared over LinkedIn, it's being shared over Facebook, Instagram, the whole shebang. Right now, I'm currently speaking within Zoom itself. I want to ask you a few questions just for me, just so I can ascertain who's on this call right now. So I want to know whether you're an existing student right now on this call, or whether you're thinking about joining. So I've just launched this poll now within Zoom itself. If you're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, just drop it in the comment section if you're an existing student or whether you're thinking about joining itself. Okay. So we got a mixed batch. Almost 50-50, okay. Between being a current student itself and thinking about joining. Ultimately, for me, I want to make sure you guys get the absolute most out of this call whatsoever. So I just want to ask you a few more questions, and that way we can make sure we're tailoring the questions accordingly. We've got two amazing students that are going to be joining us in the next few minutes. Okay. Almost 50-50 split between being an existing student and those that are looking to join us. Okay. And for those that are currently looking to join, I really want to know which area of business support are you interested in? Are you interested in becoming a data business intelligence analyst, a business analyst, or project manager? Or is there something else that you're looking at becoming? So just more so from my own knowledge, just so we can make sure we tailor the questions accordingly. Really want to know I want to gauge the interest in this call itself. So if you're on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, just drop it in the comment section which area you're interested in breaking into, whether it's a case of data, business intelligence analysis, business analysis, or project manager. Just drop it in the comment section itself. If you're on the social media platforms. Okay, I can see the bulk going towards business analysis on the poll. We've got quite a few for PM, project management, and then you got some for data business intelligence analysis as well. Okay, seems like we've got a mixed batch. Okay. Next question I want to ask is, which area of recruitment do you struggle with the most? Just to make sure so I can tailor the questioning on this call, make sure you guys have like actionable steps to take straight away at the back of this call. Which area of recruitment do you struggle with the most? I've just launched that poll now. Whether is it CVs that you struggle with the most? Is it getting interviews? Is it the case of conducting presentations? Or is it the actual interview itself? If you're on social media, just drop the answer to this question in the comment section. Which area of recruitment do you struggle with the most? Do you struggle with adapting your CV across, using transferable skills? Is it actually getting the interviews itself? Is it conducting presentations? Or is it the actual interview itself? Okay, it seems like most people are currently struggling with getting the actual interviews itself. I would have thought that would have been the easiest part. Okay, CVs, getting interviews itself, and then at the end they would say, okay, we've got conducting presentations. So I guess most people feel quite comfortable with conducting presentations itself. Okay. What people are struggling with the most, I can see on this call, is getting the actual interview itself. So I'll make sure I cover that up at the back end of this call, so you guys have actionable steps to take away straight away. Okay. Last question I want to ask on this call before I get our first guest on is what's currently holding you back from joining itself? So for those that are currently thinking about joining the program, but you're on the fence and you're thinking about joining, what's holding you back right now? So if you're on social media, just drop this in the comment section. I want to know, is it that it sounds too good to be true? Is it that you're not sure how it works? Is it that it's too expensive? Or is that not sure if it is value for money? I would love to know. Okay, we seems like we have a mixed batch. Some things sound too good to be true. Not sure how it works. Too expensive. Not sure if it is value for money. Okay. Okay. For those that think that is not sure how it works, I will break that down towards the back end of this call. It's a very simple three-stage program that we have where we provide you with a certification, we provide you with internship experience, and then we also give you the recruitment support as well. So it's the full end-to-end career transformation, and I will cover that at the back end of this call as to how exactly it is that we work. I'm not sure if it's value for money, okay. I'd love to know the people that are currently staying other right now, just drop in the chat section what you're feeling, what's holding you back currently from joining. Just drop that in the chat section. I'd love to know. For all the other answers itself, sounds too good to be true, too expensive. I'm not sure if it's value for money. I want the actual guests that we have to be able to answer those questions for you. And if you have any questions at the back end of this call, just drop it in the Q&A section of this call. If you're on social media right now, just drop it in the comment section and we'll make sure we answer any questions that you guys have. Okay, so bear with me 1 second, guys. First up we have is Jagdeep, who's going to be joining us on the call now. Jagdeep, I've just promoted you to become a panelist now.
Hi, how's it going? You okay?
Hey Jagdeep, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad, buddy. Thanks for having me on.
Top man. Are you jumping on camera?
Yeah, I can do. Yeah, I'm in the car at the moment.
Oh, perfect, top man.
I know you're okay.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you, buddy. First off, congrats on securing the role. You are officially a career switcher. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. Yeah, I've been on the role for about a month now, so it's good. Yeah, it is good. It's good again. That's what I wanted. I wanted that kind of role. So yeah, it's good. It's just got to work hard now once I'm in the role to make sure I'm a success. But yeah, it's good. It's had the tools that I needed from TLA. I got guidance, help, and again, give me a bit of confidence. You know what I mean? That was the biggest thing. That confidence that you can do the job. You know, so yeah, it's good. So I've been about a month now. I started last month on the job, full-time job. I never went for contracting. Went to a full-time job. So yeah, it's good.
That's really good. Tell us a bit about you. What's your background?
So I've been in finance. I've been in finance for years, to be honest with yourself. More finance, management, case management, complaint management, team management. I've done all that kind of stuff. I've got some own businesses as well. But I've done BA work in the past, but it's part of my normal role where I was good at a job. I would do a role, then they do this as well and do this. But a lot of the stuff you're doing is actually BA work because, again, you may not have the title as a BA, but you're doing the work, ain't you? You know, again, implementing new systems, for example, you know, you user guides, putting ideas into place, doing webinars. So you do the BA job in other places, but you just not have the title as a BA, you know? Yeah, that was my background more, and I've been in banking for quite a while. And to be honest with yourself, I got fed up of banking as well. I wanted a bit more of a career, you know, a bit more different field. And with BA kind of jobs, for example, there's lots of jobs about.
100%. What made you choose TLA specifically over any other course, company, or program?
To be honest, I looked at a few. I had a few friends actually did the course as well. So again, it was the word of mouth of people who did it. And again, everything about it was good. You got the experience, you know, again, you've got all the break of course. You can do it at your own pace. Sometimes you can do courses, you can do it in a couple of days, but again, you don't get the whole package. So I think the experience, I think that was the best thing, where you've got to put into practice the job, so you can understand it, in a scenario, do tasks. So I really think that really helped, and that really stuck out. That was a good thing for me to do.
That's amazing. Tell us a bit more about this job that you secured. So is this a permanent job itself? Would you say that you're earning more now compared to before?
Yeah, I am. To be honest, in banking, I'm lucky. Contracts are quite good anyway, because I've been in banking for a long time, so I can get contracts. So again, contracts is bad. I'm earning a bit more. But it's just a security. I know from what I do this for a year, I can go higher and higher. Again, it's that kind of thing. So you know what I mean? You can go up. Yeah, exactly. So you can be a non-BA, senior BA. I'm quite lucky. I went to a technical BA again, and I can talk again, and they're actually going to teach me a lot of the things with codings and SQL and things like that. Again, I haven't really got experience of it. So, but again, they're going to teach me that. And again, I've got 5 days work from home as well. So can't grumble with that full-time job. So
yeah, you're loving it. That's really good. Okay, and did you use job portals to secure this job, or was it via LinkedIn?
I actually got headhunted by a consulting agency, actually, to be honest with yourself, with this particular job. Someone phoned me. Again, I put my CV out there. I would just say, just apply everywhere. Again, don't be afraid. Sometimes some jobs are too good to be true. If you're only 20, 30 grand now, if you apply for 50, 60 grand a year job, you think, am I going to get it? You know what I mean? Big jump. But you don't know until you apply, isn't it? You know what I mean? Sometimes I had quite a few interviews, like you said, with as well. I applied for quite a few jobs again, from starting to junior analyst to middle analyst to senior analyst to head analyst. I applied a range for everything again, and just about where you wanted to be with regards to it. So what kind of position you wanted, and that was more it. So again, I never really limited myself. I'm based in the Midlands, and I was applying for roles around the country. Again, and even in the experience of having an interview, I think it helps.
That massively helps. Okay, so you're using a mixture of both, I'm assuming, right, of job portals. So how many jobs were you applying on a daily basis? Were you applying to quite a few on a daily basis, or?
Yeah. I like you say, use LinkedIn, of course. Again, like you're told with Anissa during training, like JobServe and stuff. That's a good one as well. She put us to, especially with these kind of jobs. Again, and just looked around. I couldn't say like I was applying for 5-10 a day. Don't get me wrong. At the start of it, sometimes you can apply for jobs, and there's a lot of people going for jobs. There's a lot of jobs, but again, there is competition. So sometimes if you apply for the 100 grand job, sometimes you may not get the response you want. But again, it's part and parcel of it. Again, unfortunately, you can't. It's not the first job I apply for I'm going to get. If it works that good, then there'll be no job shortages, isn't it? So, but I was applying for quite a few. Again, I wouldn't say one. I applied for 15, 20 jobs, 30 jobs. Again, it's just the feedback. Again, I think more the feedback. Someone you have an interview and you learn the question they're going to ask, because especially with a BA kind of job, I actually used your question and guidance, different questions you can ask. I used that as well. I had that, and I did a bit of research. But again, there's hundreds of questions, 100 answers you've got. You can't memorize them all. So again, I made sure I looked at certain things that thought were relevant to the job, but it's just about learning in the role.
Yeah, 100%.
In each question. Sorry.
How many interviews would you say you've had in total?
I got quite a few, actually. I'll be honest with you. I got quite a few. I got about 10, 12 interviews.
Wow. Okay.
I had a lot of interviews. I had a few offers as well. Don't get me wrong. I turned a few offers down because they were junior and they were traveling, and for the money, it weren't worth it for me for travel. It weren't worth it. I would, for better to stay again. It's a bigger picture. It's not just about the job, but amazing. I turned a few jobs down, but I had like 10, 12 interviews I had.
That's really, really good. So say, for example, you're applying for 20 jobs in a day. How many callbacks would you say you were getting roughly at the back of that a day?
Yeah, I personally, your CV's got to be on point. You got to make sure you put the skills forward that you've done. Right. Again, there's no point. I've been in banking, and there's no point me looking at a banking CV applying for a BA job, because I needed to tailor it for a BA, for the BA jobs I did. Because again, it's like anything. I can apply to be a doctor from my banking. It's the same principle. I've got the same experience going into a BA to show it. So it's the same kind of answer I'm going to get back. But I still had quite a few back. I still had quite a few to be honest, majority of them got back to me to say, no, you're not for us, or this and that. But I did have responses from majority of them, 89% of them, to say, even if they say, no, not for us, but we'll keep your details, because there's enough in my CV to say, if it's not this role, there's another role.
Yeah, that makes sense. And what would you say that you did differently in this interview for the job that you secured compared to all other interviews? Was there anything different that you did?
Yeah, I was just more confident. I'll be honest with you, after having a few interviews, I was just more confident. And again, I can sell myself to people. I think that's my trick. That's my trade. I can talk. Again, I think with a BA, it is about talking. And not about, I wouldn't say about lying or blagging, but it's about talking, understanding, being confident in what you're talking about. Again, because where I work as a software company, they've got software. I'm working with a mobile app side of it. And it's massive. It's been like over 30, 40 years. And I'm doing like CRM. They've got CRMs. They've got management resource planners, employee resource planners, material resource planning. They're massive. And I've got and I've not done software technical. So this is a technical BA where I've got to look into a bit more technical sides. I'm not a technical BA. I've not got technical experience. But again, I just was myself. I showed I was enthusiastic. Even with the course, I still haven't finished my BA course. I'll be honest with yourself. I've still not finished it. I've still got to finish the course. But again, even when you go there, just to show that I'm doing the course, I use my own initiative to pay for a course. People actually like that. That you're investing in yourself, isn't it? More than anything, that they show that you've got that you're willing to invest in yourself. Because if you don't invest in yourself, you can't really expect other people to do it for you as well.
How soon into the program did you start applying?
I started in the October. My program finished end of Jan. I was applying straight away, to be honest. Before the program was finished, I started to apply, really. I'll be honest with yourself. I was just get myself out there, isn't it? Then again, from the first few I had back, not response, and then I tailored my CV a bit more. But then I was applying from pretty much from straight away, from February. I was applying.
Which part of the program do you feel helped you the most?
Well, to be honest, I enjoyed the Saturday. The calls were good. Again, you can ask questions about you. Sometimes you get examples and you don't know really. We had Anissa with us, and she was really helpful. You could ask the questions. Again, what was this mean? What's this? What's this? Sometimes even reading it, you may not be able to understand it, even though they say it the same way, but maybe with a different word. It's again just about understanding it. But yeah, I enjoyed that. Again, and to be honest, all the information on the website's fine, really good. So I can get the videos when I go back to it, do the coursework to do the course. It's all handy, Again, I was doing this course while I was doing my normal job as well. I weren't just doing this. I was doing my normal job as well. So Monday to Friday, I had my own work to do. You know what I mean? So getting enough time to do it. And it was quite easy. So saying that I still need to finish it, like I said, yeah. But again, that's hopefully the next month or so, I'm going to get that done.
That's amazing. What tip would you give to all those that are currently looking for roles right now?
Just keep applying. You're going to get knockbacks. If you get the first job you apply for, fair play to you. That's what I can say to you, I think. But don't worry about it. Sometimes jobs look daunting. And I had the role as well. I was going up with senior people we've been doing for 15 years, 20 years. I've had 3-stage interviews where I had to do presentations and a big project. And you know what I mean? And that was even for a junior role. You know what I mean? It's not like sometimes don't worry about how daunting it's going to be. Just be yourself, again. I personally say the worst they can say is no. They can't say no much more than that. Again, or they're going to say you're not for us, which is fine. Again, there's so much out there, so just go, keep going for it. Again, do the course. You've got all the tools there. Use them. Again, prep. I personally, when you guys interviews, prep. When I went to interviews, I was prepping. I looked at the company. You can look at the company results. Even any limited company, their books are public to anybody. Look on there, look on the internet, do your research about the company, what other people wouldn't do. Again, you know what I mean, with regards to that, because people, if you make the effort, people appreciate that. Again, you spent time to look at the company, do your research, you're not even working from yet. So again, it shows something about you a bit different from other people. I would personally do it that way, but yeah, just be yourself. Don't keep at it. Again, it's we're in a different kind of world now where jobs are different, but keep at it. Again, don't let someone say no to you. And even if you think the interview is great, I appreciate you may not get the job, but just keep going for it.
Yeah, because ultimately, anyone that's looking for a job, you only need one client.
Yeah, exactly.
it's not the end of the world if you do get rejected. Like you just be that much more closer to getting one more.
Yeah.
Here's one last question I want to ask. Like, how did you prepare for the interviews itself? Like, were you doing anything special to prepare for the interviews? Were you
Yeah. So like I say, I do my research again, because when you get the interview, I appreciate they're going to ask you more examples, because they're going to ask you about as is and to be, gap analysis. They're going to ask you about things like that. They're going to ask you to do specifications and user stories and things like that. They're going to ask you, have you done them? Just make sure you've got to understand what it is, what's it about. Make sure you understand about, for example, like agile, or what agile is, and because again, the two approaches you can run a project. Because sometimes I went to interviews and I know the question, but because I've got so much to ask me, sometimes your head goes blank, because again, you're thinking of so many things. Then some places I went there and I said, I really want to go and do like SQL and learn that again. And I've just started to do a little bit, but then that was the wrong thing to say, because then they start asking real technical questions about SQL. And you can't lie about that, because it's not something you could say this or this, because it's really technical. So sometimes just be careful what you say. Don't really, I wouldn't say go too much like that, but be confident in yourself. Tell them that you've invested in yourself. You can do this, you can do that. You're willing to do good in yourself. People appreciate that again. And yeah, there's always something there. Like I say, and I wouldn't say, my friend who was on the same course, he got a job quicker than me. He got quicker. He's the second or third job, and we both went for the same interview. And he got the job, but the job he got was a 30,000, 35,000. I waited a month and a half. I got my job as nearly double what he's got. You know what I mean? So again, and he has to travel. I'm working from home, so it's ups and downs, isn't it? You know what I mean? Where sometimes it's not always that job's on the best for you. So just make sure you get what's right. You think is right fit for you. But yeah, go into it. Don't get me wrong. You got to work in the job. I wouldn't say it's like that. You have to work. You've got to put some in yourself to do it. But yeah, anyone can do it. That's why you're doing the course. You've got something about yourself to have that knowledge. And once you invest in yourself, you've got that push that I've invested in myself. You know what I mean? I'm doing my money in this, my time into this. I want to make sure that I'm making the most out of the course and getting a success from it.
And last question: what would you say to those that are currently on the fence of joining us?
Yeah, I was on the fence, I'll be honest with yourself again. And I appreciate it. Is the money in it? Can I get a job? Is it that simple? The course is what he says on the tin. That is the course where you get support, you get the course, you get all the online stuff. You can go in any time at your own pace. Even the videos, when you're doing the course, you can watch the videos 10 times if you don't understand it. You can learn at your own pace, and you got that. But yeah, sometimes without taking that little, wouldn't say risk, but stepping into something for yourself, you're never going to bet yourself. You can't walk into a BA job without it. I don't think you need to show that you're doing something. Unless you've got years of experience, you're going to find it very difficult to go into a BA job without putting something behind you. So even the fact you're doing a course, people appreciate that, because a lot of the people who got experience haven't got the course. So
yeah. No, I really appreciate that, Jagdeep. I know you're in the car, you're ready to go and stuff as well. But I really appreciate you joining the call. And keep us up to date with how you get on. It's really exciting to speak to you finally about it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Cheers again. Thanks for your help and everything. Again, like I say, I'm still gonna probably hear me when I'm doing my course. But again, like I'm saying, I'm done this now. I'm gonna go look at the next step for myself personally, because again, once I get here, I don't want to stay here. I want to go higher. You know what I mean? So again, once you get your foot in the door, there's so many avenues that can open for you. But again, just be yourself. Again, don't worry about it. Sometimes you're gonna get rejections, but just be yourself and be open. That's the biggest thing. When you're ready to be open, talk, and that works so much more for in your favor. Great. That's not other thing.
100%. No, I really appreciate that, Jagdeep. Really appreciate it. And hopefully I'll look forward to speaking to you soon.
Yeah, great. Well, everyone have a good day, evening, and good luck with your journeys, everyone.
Top man. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Right. Next up, we're going to have Heather that's going to be joining us in the next few minutes. I'm just going to quickly answer these questions that I can see in the Q&A section now. Anybody have any questions if you're on social media right now, just drop it in the comment section. If you have any questions whatsoever, I'll make sure I get those answered as well. Okay, so student guests have a variety of previous experience. would one struggle to secure a role with only the internship? So it all depends on your background and stuff, right? Where you're coming from, how old you are, what's your demographic. Ultimately, if you're a complete starter, you have zero experience and you just have this experience, the internship, it's 10 times more likely to get you a job than if you don't have it. Like if you have absolutely zero, you're starting from scratch, you've got no experience, nothing, and you just have a qualification, then it's going to be very, very tough. The whole point of having this internship experience is that it helps you that much more to be able to get the job than not get it. So your chances of getting a job is a hell of a lot more higher now, the fact that you got formal experience to back you up. But it's more so of knowing what to say about the internship. How do you describe that in the interview itself? What do you say? How do you talk about it? So it's more of that. So it definitely helps you to have it, to get the job itself, even if it's just the internship on its own. Sharifa, should one hope for a contract part-time job as a BA, or are there permanent roles? You can go for either both. You can either go for permanent jobs or you can go for contracting. Me personally, my preference has always been contracting, but it just depends on what stage you're currently at right now. Some people, they're very, very confident and they're very capable in their abilities. They understand how it works from day one. They go contracting straight away. Others, they had no exposure to this kind of environment of working in business support, in which case they want to go for permanent roles just to understand how it works, so they can build their level of confidence up, build the experience up, and then go for contracting at a later stage. So it's completely up to you. It all depends on where you're currently at. Other people have commitments. So other people, when you have kids and you've got family, maybe you want something that's more stable, so they go for more permanent roles. So either or, you can go for either or. The good thing is about BA though, one thing I really like is the fact that you're not restricted to location anymore. Prior to COVID, you'd be restricted on location. You'd have to apply in Manchester. If you're from Manchester, you'd apply in Manchester or local. And now you can apply nationwide. You can apply in Edinburgh, you can apply in London, you can apply in Leicester, Birmingham. It doesn't matter where you are anymore, because most of it now is just working from home. It's beautiful. The landscape has changed. Before it'd be like, a few thousand jobs available to you. But now, thousands of jobs are available to you. So the chance of getting that job now is 10 times higher because you've got access to a bigger market. Okay, next question from Raheem. Did you sign up to any recruitment agency while looking for jobs? If so, which one, please? We find that majority of students, they usually go for like the likes of JobServe, they go on Total Jobs, Indeed. They're the main job portals that they generally use. And then you got LinkedIn itself. But with LinkedIn has a process where you want to be able to reach out directly with the actual recruiters itself, rather than, just relying on job portals. You can go that one step further of being able to find the job that you're looking for, then find the recruiter for that job using LinkedIn, and then reach out to that recruiter for that specific job, because it's a game of attention. If they have 1,000 applications, then the chance of them reaching out to you is very less. But if you get in contact with the actual recruiter itself, now the chance of you being selected for that role is so much higher because you got that recruiter's attention. So it's worth using a combination of both LinkedIn and using job portals in combination and in harmony with one another. The next question from Anonymous. Is it worth applying to senior roles or one level above beginner with limited experience and completion of the program? 100%. 110%. Look, it takes the same amount of time to apply for like 60, 70K job as it does for like a 20, 30K job. It takes the exact same amount of time. The jobs which pay more, there's actually, long-term is actually, there's less work you got to put in. It's not more work. I think there's a massive misconception of people feeling like, okay, but if you get paid more, it's more responsibility, and there's more fear, there's more pressure on you. It's not. It really isn't. The higher up you go, the easier it gets. So 100%, you could apply for like mid-level and senior level roles straight away. Like we've had guys jump from like 29K to like 80K plus, 100K plus, who have made really serious leaps and jumps, and they've managed to successfully, like initially the first 2 weeks, yeah, they're struggling a little, but then they learn it, understand it fast, and they get on with it, and they're completely fine. So honestly, like feeling like you can't deliver it, like it's not an issue. You've got all the information in the world at your fingertips. Literally, we're not in the 90s. You don't need to go to a library and think that, you need to go through books to get the information. You got Google, you got YouTube, you've got the tele coaches, you've got all the information you need at your fingertips. Life is easy now. It's not what it used to be. I hope that's the question. Can you outline the cost of, can you outline the cost of your courses? Sure. So it all depends on which course it is itself. But ultimately, all our courses, they all vary between £800 and £4,800. That's where the bulk of our courses cost. It just depends on what it is that you're after, whether it's business analysis, project management, or data. Is it the case that you only after the experience itself? Do you want the entire program itself? It all depends. But what I will suggest is to arrange and book a call to speak with our team, and they will advise you accordingly based on your existing situation, your existing experience and circumstance. They will advise you what the best program is for you. So what I would do is I'll drop a quick link in the call right now, and I would 100% suggest to book a call in with our team. I'll drop it in the chat section. I've just dropped a link in the chat section now, so feel free to book a call with one of our coaches, and they'll talk you through how it all works. Okay, next question we have is from Toby. Okay, I'm going to answer a couple more questions, and then I'm going to get Heather onto this call. I'm really excited to be interviewing Heather. She's going to give you insane value. What she's done is like insane and absolutely amazing. And I really want you guys to be able to take full advantage of her knowledge whilst we've got the time. Okay, question from Toby. My background is engineering. Do you think I will not struggle? And how will I get my CV up to point looking from my background to be a regardless of your background, there's always ways where you're able to adapt and use your transferable skills and be able to switch that across into the world of business analysis. The common denominator between anything that you've already done and where you want to go is anything to do with change, implementing change or managing change. That's the common denominator. And in your CV, all we're going to talk about is the changes that have taken place in any job that you've done in the past. It could be, you worked at Tesco, for example. It could be like you worked at the post office. Regardless of what it is, we would use change as a common denominator. So being able to adapt your CV across, that's the easy part. That's not difficult at all. We have loads of videos for it. We have coaching calls for that, where we help you like switch your existing experience across to business analysis using your transferable skills. So we go through all that. That's quite straightforward. You won't be able to struggle. Like at the back of the program, the whole point is like to get you to a point where you're able to walk and talk like a BA. It's like that saying, if it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck. It's gonna be a duck. Right? It's the same thing as this. If you walk and talk or walk and quack like a BA, right? You're gonna be a business analyst. Like you got to be it, and then you will naturally become that person. But you have to be it first, and then you become it. So our program is geared and engineered in such a way where we get that output, where you're able to walk and talk like a BA. And then we give you all the questions and the answers, what kind of things to say, how to say it, give you the lingo, what kind of things to say in the interviews itself. So we covered it from all angles. I hope that's the question, Toby. Okay, question from Anonymous. Is the course suitable for older, experienced person, unemployed for a period? Will it allow me to break in? Yeah, 100%. The more experience you have, the more it works in your favor, because you have more experiences to talk about on your CV. It just becomes that much more easy. It doesn't matter if you're unemployed for a period. We've had Shri Mata, who was away for like 7 years, literally away for 7 years, and she was able to become a business analyst, having a massive career break like that. We have Priya, she was off for like 4 years, massive career break, and she managed to break in and work as a business analyst. So it doesn't matter whether you have a break or not. It's just knowing how to get that filled in, using like charitable work and any other projects, side projects you're working on. Or we can show you how that works. Okay, next question we have is, what is the first step in becoming a business analyst? So first step, I would suggest definitely speak to our team first. It's all about it's about building that confidence and having that full step in place. Like the whole part of our program is to give you those steps. So it's not just about that first step, it's about to give you those steps, all 3 steps, to be able to secure the role successfully in record time. The worst thing you guys can do is go online and then do a little course here and then do this. Online, there's so much information online that you don't know where to start and you don't know where to end. And yeah, you can do it by yourself, but then the problem is it just takes you so long, and it's time, and it's like you're buying time. That's the whole point of doing these programs, is you're not buying anything else but time, where you can get the result in a specific amount of time, and it's all synced in a very, very specific way, geared for just getting one end result of you getting the job with your hand raised high and you're earning a hell of a lot more money. But what I would suggest, Anonymous, is definitely book a call with our team, speak to the team as well, the career coaches, and they will guide you which program is the best for you, and they'll show you exactly what that looks like. Okay, last question I'm going to ask. I'm going to get Heather on straight after this call. Okay. Okay, so question from Anonymous. Okay, I'll do Anonymous from Dylan. Okay. Hello, I have no experience in IT and no bachelor's degree. How will I fit into this? Okay, look, you don't really need experience in IT. It doesn't matter, regardless of what experience you have. It makes no difference. Like the process of being a business analyst is the same everywhere. You don't need any experience in IT. Like a lot of guys that come to us, they have 0 experience. You get accountants, lawyers, admin workers, bus drivers. Look, people from all sorts of backgrounds come to us. You don't need experience in IT. You don't need a bachelor's degree. I mean, there's an advantage, there's a plus that, yeah, you're educated and you understand a bit more about how things work, but a bachelor's degree is not the same as it was like 15, 20 years ago. A bachelor's degree used to have loads of value, used to hold a lot of value. It doesn't hold the same value anymore. It's more about experience, especially in this market. It's all about experience. The certificate I get from you, how well are they recognized and will it add any value to your CV? The certificates that you get from us, BCS, British Computer Society, they're like the leading standard for all business analysts. It holds a lot of value in your CV. It's really recognized, not just in the UK, but throughout the world itself. But all these certificates, any qualification you're doing in life, it just shows value to your craft. It shows commitment to your craft. That's all it shows. That's any qualification, a degree, an MBA, wherever it is. How you're going to get this job and what differentiates us from everyone else is you're going to get project experience, but then you also get mentorship from guys who've already, been there, done that, from guys who are earning 6 figures. Learn from guys. That's the fastest way of being able to get to the top. This one asked me what's the fastest way to get to 100K plus? I will literally find someone who's on 100K, pay them, and tell them, teach me how they got it. That is the fastest way possible. Literally, because they will tell you what the roadmap is, how they did it, what was their process, what was the roadmap for doing it, because that's now a proven roadmap because they're on that. So you just need to follow a proven roadmap. That's all it is. I hope that answers the question, Anonymous. Last question, how long do I have access to the recruitment support? So recruitment support that we give is access to the point that until you get the job. Average student of ours takes 2 months to get the job. You've heard it from Jagdeep, it took him a few months to get the job. Heather coming on, she literally got it within a week and a half. She got the job itself. So you get the support to be able to secure the job up to the point you get the job. And then once you got the job, we'll give you 1 month on the job support. So we're giving you full support to make sure you get the job itself, and then 1 month in the job to make sure that you got the right game plan, you know exactly what to do when you get in there. So we're literally holding your hand even once you're in there. So yeah, you got full access to that. Okay, Heather, I'm going to get you on right now, and then any of the questions I'm going to answer towards the back end of this call. Guys, bear with me 1 second. Heather, I hope you're ready. Okay, whilst you guys do that, whilst you join, I'm just going to quickly hold still. Bear with me 1 second, guys. Hey Heather, how are you?
Good. How are you? Yeah.
Yes, I'm very, very well. First off, massive congratulations. You're officially a career switcher. How does it feel?
Feels really good. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate in particular your support. Like you were the first one that I spoke to. Like when I reached out to TLA, I ended up on one of these calls and I was asking a whole bunch of questions and you had remembered me. So you were the one that reached out to me and we had a whole discussion and that's that kind of started the journey. So I appreciate you very much.
Thank you. Like that was literally a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now you're on this call and I'm interviewing on this freaking call. So this is insane. Like,
Yeah.
tell us a bit about you. Tell us a bit about your background.
Yeah, so I am originally from California in the States, and I had come over here to the UK to study at Brunel to get a master's in management, specializing in technology and innovation. And I'm still doing that, but I kind of wanted to have a game plan for, what happens after that. So I'm in my dissertation period now, and I was starting to think about what my other options would be. I wasn't sure if I was gonna go back into what I was doing before. My original background is in sort of web hosting and cloud computing. I was managing teams and just doing BA work without realizing I was doing BA work as well. A lot of project management type stuff in a previous role also, and like left that behind and didn't know what I was going to do when I came to the UK. And yeah, so that's kind of how it ended up. And I was so afraid that I was going to have to take a massive pay cut in order to even get back into something remotely close to what I was doing. And that hasn't been the case at all. So, yeah.
That's it. So you come here as an international student.
That's correct. So I come here as an international student. I have a student visa, which has some unfortunate restrictions around it. And, trying to find the right job and the right like field and the right kind of situation to get around all of that was like very stressful for me. I think that's one of the things that we spoke about when I was speaking to you for the first time. Yeah, it's something that a lot of students struggle with, and like I really didn't, the way that it worked out, I don't think I'm gonna have to worry about that anymore. So
what are the restrictions that you've got?
So currently for right now, until my dissertation is finished, while I'm in term time, what is considered term time, I can only work 20 hours a week. Outside of term time or once your dissertation is submitted, you can actually work full time, but like there's a lot of paperwork around that and just a lot of compliance issues that a lot of companies don't want to deal with. And then, a lot of companies don't offer the tier 2 sponsorship or the work visa. So that's kind of like your other option besides, once the student visa runs out, you can either apply for a post-study work visa, which gives you 2 additional years. And the intention of that is basically to find a job and to decide whether you want to stay in the UK permanently or not, or, find a sponsored job immediately. So, yeah.
That's insane. And to tell us a bit about this job that you secured. So are they willing to sponsor you then?
Yeah, so the way that it turned out, it's interesting because one of the big things with the TLA program is they really show you, everyone that I've spoken to has really shown me how to position myself, and that's one of the things that you really take a lot of time in. And because of that, like, I mean, I'm still in the BA program now, guys. Like my project hasn't even technically started. It's not supposed to start for another 10 days. Okay. And so I had a bunch of time. I think I originally missed the date that I was supposed to start because I was kind of like trying to figure out finances and like all of these things that I know you guys have a bunch of questions about. But like, I just dove into the sort of like revise your CV module. I went through that whole thing. I realized that what I thought I was doing in terms of translating my skills wasn't the right thing. Like I thought I had been doing it right all along and it wasn't working. So I just followed those videos and I attended so many of the CV coaching calls with Anissa. Like those were so helpful. Even when I wasn't having mine reviewed, which I did a few times, I listened to the feedback that she gave other people, and that was very helpful. And then sort of like by accident, one of those versions of my CV that I was in the middle of revising kind of got out there. and I got headhunted by this retail consultant agency who wanted a technical project manager. And they were like, you seem like a great fit. They sent me the job description. I had an interview scheduled the next day. I actually had to reschedule the interview due to a personal issue. And I thought like, oh my God, I like totally messed up my chance. And they were like, no, it's fine. We still want to chat to you. And in the interview, I did what you teach in the program, where when they ask you to talk about what's on your CV or to tell about yourself, to just be very detailed. And I could see their faces get very, very excited. And like the rest of the interview was basically just talking about the things that I had actively done and what they needed. And when I said, yeah, so I'm on the student visa and like I want to stay in the UK, and they were like, yeah, sure, we could help you with that, no problem. And it kind of went from there. And then, within 2 hours of that interview, I had a phone call that I had the job, and I signed the contract, and I was literally in a kickoff meeting like within hours, like the next day. So yeah, it's been a very interesting journey.
That is insane. Okay, I want to rewind a bit about what you said. So, okay, let's rewind to the part where you thought, okay, you thought you were doing it right all this time, but then you went through the CV modules, and then you found out it was structured differently. So what do you think was the way you should have done, and what do you think was structured differently? Like, what was that shift?
So I think for me, I had been targeting like roles that I thought I had been doing before, which was just like technical support team roles or management roles. And I thought, well, sure, somebody's going to look at my CV and they're going to think that like I'm a great manager, and they're going to think that all of these things apply in various ways because I did all of these things. But no, you have to specifically state like what you did and how it applies. And there's a very specific sort of like CV format to make all of that very clear, and just use a lot of specific examples in detail, which I really wasn't doing. So I think that was very, very helpful.
Okay, so you detailed out your key duties.
Yeah.
Did you add achievements to your?
Yeah, so I added a section for like all the certifications that I have, as well as like key achievements in each role, and kind of like the big projects that I was responsible for and the key outcomes as well. I think that was very helpful in terms of the structure, because I hadn't been using that structure previously. And I also just want to say the roles that I had been applying to previously before TLA, I mean, they were leadership roles, but they were like, the title may not have been a junior role, but the salary certainly was, or the duty certainly was. And so in the situation that I'm in now, it's completely different.
So what made you apply to the junior roles?
So I think for me, because I had been like, I had been in my previous role for about 3.5 years before I came to the UK, but then I've been out of the work environment for just over a year with doing my master's and everything else. And I feel like I just lacked confidence, not necessarily in my abilities, but, I'm in a new market. I'm in a new country. There's a lot of things that are different just in the context of how you approach people. And I just didn't, it really messed with my confidence. And so I just thought like, also, I will say my school has been wonderful generally, but a lot of their advice was maybe older advice, like, that doesn't really apply anymore. And they kind of were saying like, it's okay if you apply for junior roles, take the leadership experience off of your CV. You don't want to intimidate companies with that. Like, you're going to have to take a pay cut and all of those things. And none of that is actually true. None of it applies. So.
And how did you find our advice any different to that?
Well, everyone that I've spoken to basically says exactly the opposite, especially with, be confident, especially if you have skills. Even if you haven't translated them properly, there is a way to do that. Go for those roles, do the interviews. Even if you don't get it, it's worthy of practice. And the more practice that you have, like, you're just going to continue to improve, and you don't have to settle for junior roles or a pay cut or any kind of duties that you don't necessarily feel comfortable doing. I mean, the first conversation that you and I had, based on the experience that I was talking to you about, you basically were like, why are you not doing project management? Why are you doing, like the BA program? And why, like, I think you pretty much told me the salary range that I could expect to go in. And that has been accurate as well. But also, it is kind of funny that my role ended up being a technical project manager, more than a BA kind of thing, even though there is elements of both.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were spot on.
That's insane. Okay, that's really good. And have you started this job now?
Yeah, so I started on 4th of July.
How are you finding it?
So far so good. The first week or so was a little bit intense just because I immediately got brought onto two big projects, one of which is almost toward the end. So I was struggling with a lot of access issues and just chasing up the right people. And the other one is like we're prepping for kickoff, and I'm actually the engagement manager on that project. So it's a lot of things. But I love it. So
Do you feel like your team is good? Are they supportive?
Yeah, my leadership is super supportive. I mean, they basically told me in the interview when I asked, one of the questions that Raj really drove home that he asks a lot in his interviews when he's kind of closing out and they ask if you have any questions is like, what are the development opportunities and what are the deliverables that I'm going to be responsible for? I asked those questions and they spent a lot of time talking to me about development opportunities and basically said, you can do your own development plan and we will support you in any certifications that you want to receive as long as you continue to, perform well in your role, which is great because that's in addition to the visa sponsorship that they offered.
Wow.
So yeah, and I work with a really great BA who's been at the company longer than I have, obviously, and he's just wonderful. So I can really depend on him in a lot of ways, and that makes everything just go more smoothly. So yeah, I feel very lucky in that way.
Okay. In the interview itself, did you do the presentation technique?
So I didn't really have to. I had planned to do that. The amount of interview prep that I had done, just in the context of like presentation stuff and like getting my star scenarios ready and the research on the company and all of those things, I had prepped so much, and then ultimately I ended up not needing to have done any of that because of the way that the interview unfolded. Like they just ended up being super happy with me right away, and they knew that they wanted to hire me, which I don't want it to be misconstrued. Usually this does not happen. So like, I think they told me it was basically just a combination of my previous experience and like my leadership skills and the fact that I was excited for the job. And I even said to them, I've been out of work for a while and I feel a little bit rusty and I don't really have experience in the retail space. My experience is in another domain. And they were like, it does not matter. It does not matter. We're here to support you. So
that's insane. And when you did that, tell me about yourself. So you give a detailed answer for that. How did you structure that? Was it just a star format, but then you went through all your previous experiences?
Yeah, so that's basically exactly how I did it. And, I kind of got to the end and they didn't have any questions that they could have answered because I just was so detailed. And, we just continued from there to talk about the things that actually matter when you're doing the role and you're managing a project and you're managing a team that's like supposed to deliver all of these things. And so, it was like an actual conversation instead of maybe an interrogation like some interviews can be.
That's amazing. And was this off a job portal or was this at the back of using LinkedIn?
So this was actually neither. I had been like getting ready to do the LinkedIn techniques and like I had like set up Workray so that I could track all my like applications that I was going to do through the job portals because I was like looking at all kinds of stuff. This just happened. I got an email. Basically, I got headhunted. They saw my accidental half revised CV somewhere and were like, we think you're a great fit. Like, and that's where it started. So it literally fell into my lap.
That's insane. And was it only one interview you've done or have you done multiple?
It was only one interview with them.
Wow.
And actually they told me the day that I had to reschedule, it would have been probably more than one interview because the other person that wanted to make the hiring decision wasn't there that day, but because I rescheduled, they were both there and they both just jumped on the same call. And they just decided like, very quickly that they wanted to hire me.
That is absolutely insane. It's a very like thought out story. Here's a question for you. Your confidence, right? You said you started off where you had like quite minimal confidence. The fact that you've come from a different country, you come from America to the UK, it's a different culture, it's a lot of different things. How did you overcome that lack of confidence, and how did you get confident to apply for those high-end jobs? Because I actually think it's easier to apply for high-end jobs compared to low-end jobs, because for low-end they want you to do everything.
Yeah. It's true, but like it's a mind game, right? You have to get over yourself and realize, like, remember that you're worthy. All of those higher end roles that I was planning to apply to, or that I had applied to and like was just waiting to hear back, like those were things that I had already done. And I think like just, you know, being in the new environment and listening to kind of bad advice or old advice, because maybe at some point in the past that would have been relevant, like I think it just kind of did my head in. And then once I started getting into the process and realizing like, okay, I actually do have transferable skills and this is super easy and I feel very supported by everyone at TLA. You know, and then once the interview, like the whole recruiting process, which was very quick with them, happened, I was just like, you know, I don't even know why I was worried about anything. But I will say, like, I also had some like previous rejections for not even BA roles that were, they just kind of made me feel bad. Like I couldn't even do jobs that I was previously like that were below me that I had done like 5 or 10 years ago. And I was like, you reject, like, what is happening? You know, so I think that was part of it too.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Because you think that, okay, I should be able to walk into this, you know, without making effort in, and they're making me set myself hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of like that. So no, I get that. Okay. What would you say are the most meaningful moments of the entire program itself?
Well, I think if you would have asked me before, I probably would have said, like, I'm really looking forward to the project. I think that's going to bring a lot of value. And I'm still looking forward to doing it, like, even though I'm working. But I think everything has been valuable, but I really liked a lot of the different types of content that I got on the 2-day webinar. And I just think that the kind of continued coaching calls that you guys provide, especially when you're in the early stages and you're getting your CV ready and you're kind of getting all of your processes down, and like maybe you've never interviewed in this kind of way, or maybe you have and you just don't feel confident about it. Like the way that you guys lay it out, it brushes all of that aside, and it's very, very helpful. So
that's amazing. And what tip would you give to all those that are currently looking for roles right now?
I would say don't give up. Like, even if you don't feel like you have experience, there's something that you have done in a previous role that you can translate in some kind of way. And if an employer really likes you, if you show up and you're excited about the role and excited about the opportunities and you want to have that conversation, have the conversation. Like, you know, like the previous guest said, like all they could say is no, and you only really need one yes. So just be persistent. Also, like if you're on the fence about it, I wasn't really on the fence about it. I knew immediately that I wanted to do it. We just had to figure out the finances and if the timing was right. But like, just know that you're going to get out of it what you put into it. Like, don't spend the money and just come in here and go through the videos and then say, oh, well, it didn't work for me. Like, you still have to put the effort in. You should still attend the coaching calls, even if you're not getting things reviewed. Like, I haven't done any like job support calls yet, just because I haven't had brain space to kind of even figure out if there's anything else that I need to ask, but I definitely still want to take advantage of that. And I know it's there for me, but like you still have to put the work in. But if you do that, it will pay off.
110%. Like it's on you to like take that action. You can't just expect a magic wand or something like that. You have to still put the action in. The guidance is there, all the work is there. We'll do our part, but you yourself, within you to like want to make that effort. It's like going to the gym. Yeah, the gym's there and the machines are there. They're waiting for you to be used. But they're going to move for you. You have to move. It's kind of like that, isn't it? So no, I completely understand that. But here's the question, right? So we tend to get a lot of international students that join us in a very, very similar situation to yourself, where they come from back home, coming to the UK itself. And I feel like there's a lot more hurdles in place with the amount of restrictions. What's the best advice you can give any international students that are looking for that Tier 2 sponsorship? Because you managed to successfully get that. So
so not only did I manage to get that, I didn't even have to ask about it. They like I just mentioned, this is a situation I'm in, and they offered that. So sometimes that will happen, but you can also seek out companies that are known to sponsor, and there's a couple of different ways that you can do that. But also, be persistent, but also be open with your employer. And I don't really subscribe to this, like, oh, don't tell them until the last minute. Like, just be open, because at least if they reject you on that basis, then you can move on to the next. I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. This company that I'm with now, they wanted to offer me right up front a permanent position. I wanted to be contract anyway, but we ended up changing that to be a contract so that we could work around my restrictions of my visa. And then, that should change for me once my dissertation is submitted in September. So they even worked my contract so that some of those things will change in September when those restrictions are lifted. Which again, you have to be open and have the conversation about that so that people know whether or not they can help you and whether or not they want to make that investment. And if they don't, it doesn't matter, because you can go on to the next. And if it does, then that's great. You have a good opportunity.
Would you say there's anything extra that someone should do? Because I feel like when you go for sponsorship, one is generally just it's just a bigger.
Yeah, it is a bigger hurdle. It's there's also more at stake. There's a whole process around sponsorship generally and how it works. And like, even companies that say that, that are on the sponsorship list, they may not have the capacity to sponsor just because of how it works. You just have to put more effort in. And you also, again, you have to target those companies that are known to sponsor. Like, my situation is a little bit different. It's a smaller company. Their sponsorship license is pending. They were willing to get that for me. So you might find yourself in that situation, but that's why I said be open about like the restrictions that you have in the situation that you're in and the help that you need, because if you have the skill set or the desire to learn, they might be willing to kind of go the extra mile and get things sorted out on their side so that they can help you. Which I would almost say, while you target those bigger companies that are known to sponsor, also target the smaller companies or the mid-sized companies, because they might be more open to being able to be a little bit more flexible with the sponsorship. And, like I said, you also have to provide value as well. You can't it's not like they're just going to offer that to you on a plate. Like, mine is contingent on, doing a good job for them. So that's what I want to do.
How much of your mindset when going into the interview was, okay, I'm going to just, I'll tell them a bit about myself and then I'll prepare for some answers and questions. How much of your mindset was that? And how much was your mindset of, okay, this is what I bring to the table for the company. This is what I can do to help the company.
So I think it was probably about 50-50. I think I was still like super concerned because I had rescheduled on them, and generally that doesn't look very, that doesn't look great, even if it's for a good reason. But they already had my CV. They already had in mind what they wanted and the kinds of projects that I was going to be working on if I were hired. And so I think once the interview started and I realized kind of what was happening, a lot of that sort of anxiety that led to me just wanting to be focused on questions and answers went away. And then I was able to really talk about the things that I brought to the table, or the things that I would continue to bring to the table if I had their support and getting like continued education and things. So
that's pretty interesting. Okay, I want to open the rest of this chat to like a Q&A. Right, yep. So, guys, if anybody had any questions for Heather, just drop it in the Q&A section and I'll shout it out, and then we'll both answer these questions. I think like what Heather's managed to accomplish is absolutely insane, and in the time frame that she's managed to accomplish it is even more insane, because she literally just one of you guys on this call a few weeks ago. I'm interviewing her on this call. To me, it's still mind-blowing. And I'm super happy and proud of the fact that you managed to overcome it, but you showed your determination of being able to like be that go-getter. Like it's not like just sitting there and waiting for things to come to you. If you want it, you have to basically go and get it. Yeah, and that's what you've demonstrated. Okay, so some questions. So okay, I'm in the Q&A section, so see quite a few questions now. Okay, let me just pick one out. Okay, is it possible to join 2 courses simultaneously? From Maha, yeah, it's possible to do 2 courses simultaneously. It just depends, but what we normally recommend is like focus on one at a time, just so you can get maximum output and you can get the full result from one. Like sometimes it's not about doing like so many courses in one go. Like you just need to be able to like go all in on one specific course, like fully understand it, maximize it, and then after, then learn the next, and then the next, and the next. I think like in your career, you're always going to be a student, and you're always going to keep learning new and new things. Like never feel like you know everything. That's key. Like always invest in courses, keep learning, but learn from those who've already done it. That's like the biggest thing. That's what I've learned in my career. Like whenever I've done like courses and it's just a damn course, I never learn anything from it. Yeah, I learn a bit of theory and stuff, but theory is theory. What you want is you want the real, you want the good stuff. If someone's earning like say more than me, then that person's clearly doing something that I'm not. That means I'm failing in something. That means my mindset ain't right or my skill set ain't right. There's something I'm doing wrong because that person's earning way more than me. How can I do what that person's doing? Or how can I earn more than that person? First, how can I get to that level first, right? And then how can I bypass that? So I would much rather invest in those that are doing 10x better, as opposed to just doing specific certifications. Certification shows loyalty to your craft. And yeah, a part of your budget should be put towards that. But then the other part is all those things which you're not aware of, which you don't know, which only can come from one's experience. That experience is 10 times more valuable than any book or any theory that you can ever get. I hope that answers the question, Maha. Okay, next question. Okay, question from Anonymous. If a mid-level or senior level role is secured, does the organization provide specific training, or do they just hand you work and expect you to get on with it? That's the main thing which makes me anxious for applying for mid-senior level roles with limited experience. How would I answer that? So it all depends, right? So the general way of how, whenever you're a business analyst or project manager, the structure of how you do that is pretty much the same company to company. Everywhere you go, it's always going to be pretty much the same way. What changes is company-specific systems and company-specific documentation itself. So company-specific, they will train you on that. But the actual way of being a business analyst or being a project manager, that or even a data analyst, is always going to be the same regardless of where you go. Like even per industry, I guess construction will be slightly different to working in an IT environment. That's given itself. But generally, as a whole, like if you're a project manager, regardless of any IT or technical project, it's going to be the same wherever you go. There are differences in using waterfall compared to agile. There are differences in those two methodologies and those two projects. So that's the given itself. But when it comes to training itself, it's not like you're applying for like a complaint handler role and they're going to train you for 2 weeks fully and they're going to train you after job. No company is going to pay you 100 grand and then teach you how to do that job. That's the reason why we have these programs where we give you that training of the base of it, and then when you actually secure the job, the company will give you company specific training, so then you can apply what you've learned with us to that company. I hope that answers the question, Anonymous. Does the cost guarantee a job? So we use the word guarantee. So we guarantee results, right? So that's one thing for sure. The guarantee part, the only reason we don't use the word guarantee and guaranteeing a job is for one specific reason, is people generally have a change in circumstances. So when there's joiners, the circumstances may be one thing, but towards the back end of it, things may change where they may have to go back to their own country itself. It may be the case where maternity, paternity, personal problems, life happens. We get opportunities where that's happened itself. But if you follow the program itself, you will get the job. But just like Heather said, we'll be there. Like, we've got all the program fully laid out to the point where you can get results. You follow it, you get results, but you have to follow it, and you have to put the work in to get the results itself, and then it will work for you. That's for damn sure. So. Heather, what would you say on that?
Yeah, I would say that's 100% the case. I mean, and also in my case, like they hired me because of the experience and the skills that I have, but they want to make sure that I have the resources to refine all of those things. So that is possible, but they're not training me how to be a project manager. They just want to make sure that I have the right certifications for the types of projects that we're doing, which is, it's not necessarily related to, we're not necessarily doing Prince2 related projects. We're doing agile software projects, and there's different project management certifications for that kind of thing. But I will say in my role, there really wasn't a whole lot of onboarding. I literally signed the contract and I was in a kickoff call like within hours. So you have to be prepared for those things, but also just be confident. It's okay to not know things. There's a lot of things that I don't know. I came into a completely different domain, and that is okay. Just be committed to doing a good job and learning. And there's not a whole lot more that employers can ask for when you're starting a new role.
100%. Okay, that's a really good answer. A question from Chimay. I have more than 10 years of banking experience. How do I write my CV to enable me to transit to a BA role after the training? Look, ultimately, it all comes down to the common denominator. It's all to do with change analysis and change management. You have to understand all the changes that you've been part of as part of your banking experience. What kind of jobs was it that you've been doing? Have you been working? Have there been any process changes? Have there been any regulation changes? Have there been any digital changes? And how can you write that as part of your CV? Chimera, if you're an existing student right now, I would 100% suggest use the finance example that we have in the CV mastery module and attend the coaching call and speak to the coaches where they can really break down your CV, open up your CV up and go through that in a lot of detail. 100% suggest to attend those coaching calls and they'll really help you. Okay, Helga Chi, okay, have you had students in the past who started their course out of the UK? What is success rate and how did they go about finding BA jobs from the UK? We've had students, so we've got students in Canada, America, Nigeria, over in Dubai and a few other countries. We have students in different countries. We get a lot of those students who apply within their own countries itself. But then you also got those students that are looking to then migrate into the UK as well, and they're trying to go for that tier 2 sponsorship. Whatever the case is, it is possible. It's not impossible to do that. So it all depends on the strategy itself. So after you've done the initial 2 days, you've got the qualification itself, do the 3-month project experience. The project experience you're getting from a UK national company. So automatically, if you're looking to migrate to the UK, just having that, automatically that will help because now you've got UK-based experience. Then when it comes to the final part, which is the recruitment support side of it, a lot of these interviews that take place is usually via Zoom. Heather, I'm assuming that yours was via Zoom as well, or did you go in person?
Yeah, no, it was via Zoom, yes.
Yeah, so it's super achievable, super possible. The fact that the majority of the interviews now are done via Zoom, it just increases your chances tenfold to be able to actually secure the job itself. So rest assured, you just follow the process in that TLA portal that we have, follow those modules step for step from CVs to presentations. The process that Heather followed was absolutely amazing. She literally just went in, guns blazing. She answered the question, tell me about yourself. She did it in great detail. And at the back of it, that kind of sets the tone of the interview itself, because they're thinking, okay, she's answering all these questions already that we're going to ask, but I don't need to answer it because she's already answered it. And then you can kind of flip it around after that and then start asking them questions because you've covered the base. You've set the tone that you're professional, you know what the hell you're talking about. So it's not like they're trying to catch you out or anything. Because that's what happens in interviews, that if you struggle to answer certain questions, then they keep prodding and keep asking you questions just to try to get the answer out of you. But if you give them everything from the get-go, then you can turn it around and start asking them questions. And it becomes more of a specialist-like interview now. Now it's like you're the doctor going into that interview and trying to figure out what problems are they having and what solutions and how can I benefit them. And when you get to that level, you'll go for the higher pay brackets. You'll just go way more senior. In the junior type of roles, they'll just ask you questions and you're more reactive. And you're just, you're playing catch up. So they're just asking you loads of questions and you're just trying to answer those questions. And then right at the end, they'll be like, okay, do you have any other questions to ask us? That's how it ends. That's not a good way. Professionals, the guys right at the top, it's more like, they'll say their bit and then they'll ask their questions. And that's the level you pretty much want to get to. A question from Oliver Siren. This is a really good one. So, is there a particular way you submit your application? I'm interested in PM roles with sponsorship. Is there any other tip you have for prepping for interview? It's a good one for you, Heather.
Well, so I think my situation is a little bit strange just generally because, I didn't apply for this. I had applied for other things, but I really the email came through and I kind of stopped everything that I was doing because they were in a hurry. They wanted to interview very quickly. But I would say um generally, if you're applying, keep track of the areas that keep track of the job applications that you've made. Like there's a whole section in the course about how to use Workray, or there's other softwares that do similar things. Like definitely use one of those and keep track of everything. There is a tier 2 sponsorship list. There's a PDF version of it, but there are also databases that are available online, and you can see whether that company sponsors. But again, like I said before, just because a company is on that list doesn't mean that they have the it's called a certificate of sponsorship allocation available within a certain period of time. So they might say, yeah, generally we can sponsor, but unfortunately for this role we can't. You see that a lot on job advertisements. But just apply to everything, be open, have the conversation, don't try to hide it, because again, if they're going to reject you on that basis because they can't help you, you'll know sooner, as opposed to drawing the interview process out or the application process out generally, and you can move on to the next thing. But as long also as you kind of complete the training, you're confident in your skills, and you have a skill set that the employers want, I really don't think it's as big of an issue as it seems to be.
100%. No, I completely agree. Next question we have from MKC. So, hi Heather, how did you find the BCS exam? Have you done the BCS exam yet?
So I haven't done the exam yet. That's actually something that I'm planning on doing within the next couple of months. I think if I hadn't have gotten this role, and it's kind of been like 100 miles an hour since I started, because they pulled me on 2 pretty big projects, I would have had the certification already. That was my plan, is to do the 2-day webinar and then just immediately get it. But unfortunately, around that time is when all of this just kind of kicked off. I don't think that if you go through the modules in the program, they are sufficiently detailed to give you everything that you need to pass the exam, as long as you actually use the materials as well. And Raj ran my webinar that covered all of that content as well. He's wonderful. So again, you have everything that you need. Don't worry about whether it's going to be hard or whatever. Just put the effort in.
100%. Next question from Michelle. Heather, your story is inspiring. Do you think that your technical background has helped securing this amazing job? Presenting yourself to the recruiters, can you go through the part of how you explain to them what skills you'll bring to the company? Again, thanks for sharing the journey. It gives me hope.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it makes me happy to know that my story can help inspire other people and make them realize that this is something that they can get into. For me, I think definitely having the technical experience and the companies that I previously have worked for on my resume made a difference. Just because they are kind of big companies, and at one point I was doing very technical things. But here's the thing about that: I wasn't actually doing super technical stuff within the last couple of years, because I was mostly doing leadership things and project management things and non-technical BA things, because I needed to take care of my team and there just wasn't anyone else to do that. So the technical experience that I have it, but it's not something that I'm really up to date with. So it's something that I could talk about just generally. I mean, it's something that you could talk about if you watched a couple of YouTube videos, to be honest, and you felt confident enough to do that, or you took a course on Udemy if you didn't feel confident. But it's not a deal breaker. Those are things that can be taught. If you have curiosity and the ability to learn, you can learn any technical skill. So it doesn't have to hold you back at all. And in terms of presenting myself, I presented myself exactly that way. Yes, I have this experience. Yes, I did those things. I haven't been doing those things recently, but I'm more than willing to brush up on those skills. And I also think that, I can bring these other things to the table also.
That's really good to know. It's very, very insightful. Thank you, Heather. That's a really good answer. Next one we have is from Anonymous. Should irrelevant experience or qualifications be left out on CV? For example, a security license, first aid qualifications. Yeah, 100%. Keep it focused, keep it super, super targeted towards the type of job you're applying for. Say, for example, if you're trying to apply say for example, you come from like an admin background and you're trying to apply for, a project management or a business analyst job. They're going to want to know how you've managed change or how you've implemented changes. That's all they want to know. What you've done in with the Excel sheets, which is something which is completely irrelevant to the job. Who cares? Like, no one cares. Like, keep it so focused. Like, what value are you bringing to the table? Like, how are you going to shift that needle for that company? Because they clearly have a problem. How are you going to fix the problem that they have? That's all your CV is. As a problem, like, what problems are you fixing? Just see it in that view, and you'll just take out anything which is unrelated. So security license, first aid. They're going to want to know that if you've got a security license, that you're a security guy. No, it's got nothing to do with it. Yeah, so they don't want to know that you're going to be guarding the floor, right, during part-time lunch breaks. They don't want to know that. So yeah, just keep it super, super focused. Question from Vitinder. You mentioned the roles being remote and not necessarily needing to be in the state you live in. Are you anticipating this changing at any time and becoming hybrid or back into the office at any time? I would think that eventually down the line it will become hybrid. I don't think it's ever going to be fully back into the office. I do think that it will be hybrid, where 1-2 days they're going to expect people to come back in. I feel like that a lot of companies have invested in the infrastructure now, where they've moved to remote, and it's just better. Working remotely is just easier, and people are a lot more productive. People are working hell of a lot more working from home. So I do think that there's a lot of advantages to that. And I think then it's like, one is employee engagement, retention, but there's just satisfaction as well. The fact that they get the chance to be able to deal with their personal commitments alongside their work. But I guess that just shifts company to company, because you hear so many things. You hear Elon Musk, saying things like, "Oh, all my staff, they're back into the offices now," and all this. And some people are trending on at the back of that. But then a lot of it, you do get to work from home. So I can imagine it be hybrid long term, potentially. Also, I think you'd know that if you're contracting, this could go against you in your mortgage application. So ideally, a permanent role would be better. Would you say? Not necessarily. Like, you can just go for a contractor mortgage. There's such things. You type in contractor mortgages on Google, and you can see that you can still get mortgage out for houses. Bolanle Ashir, what technique did you use for the question, tell me about yourself? Can you talk a little bit more about that? Question for you, Heather.
Yeah, so I really don't feel like I did anything special. I mean, to be honest with you, I just structured it using the STAR technique, but I added a lot of detail based on what I knew they were asking for, because I had the job description, and I also had my CV right in front of me, so I was able to go through specifically the types of experiences and talk about specific examples within those experiences that I knew that they wanted to hear about. And I think as long as you focus it that way and are just detailed, you're going to be off to a great start.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree. Follow that STAR structure. I would suggest just have like a really detailed STAR structure for every single previous role that you have, and just keep memorizing it, keep rehearsing it. If you have a partner or if you have somebody else, just like speak with them, get them to ask you questions, you ask them questions. Just do it like that. It'll just be a lot more easier. Question from Anonymous: how do people get headhunted? Okay, this is one of my favorite topics. I love talking about this. How do people get headhunted? So LinkedIn is definitely the spot to be, definitely the place to be in. LinkedIn really allows you to position yourself. It allows you to control the narrative. Just think of it like you're the hero of your own story, and it's important that you share your story to the masses, to the people, like the likes of recruiters, employers, whoever is your end client. It's important to share your story so you can pre-nurture them, and it kind of, when you start posting, automatically your authority automatically gets to like this level, and so you can charge these rates as well at the back of when you're posting content, when you're doing videos, or when you're doing blogs. You're becoming now a thought leader. So posting content, producing content, it gets you to the point where you get headhunted. Because think of it like, say, for example, you have a shop, It could be a takeaway. It could be like a grocery shop, and you want people to come into that shop. How do you get people in that shop? So a traditional grocery shop, they will do like loads of leafleting. They'll go on the radios. That's their version of producing loads of content, right? They will do traditional marketing, local marketing that they will do, so they can drive traffic to their shop with all the offers that they have. How you would do it for yourself is on LinkedIn, you produce content. That's how you would do it. So you producing content is like you giving a little taste of your work. That's what you're doing. So, for example, giving your opinion on a certain regulation that's come out, giving an opinion on, specific topics to do with business analysis, project management, so, a piece of theory which you disagree with, or something which has really helped you in your work. It can be absolutely anything that you can share, stories, tips. And if you're struggling for that content, just go on answerthepublic.com. Answerthepublic.com, type in business analysis, and it'll give you loads of topics of what people are searching right now, and answer that, right? Just share things. And when you do that, you'll come up on everyone's newsfeed, because people spend probably about 45 minutes a day just scrolling through LinkedIn throughout the day, and they'll see your name, and they keep seeing your name. Automatically, they now picture you as a brand. So when they think of business analysis, they think of your name. The higher up you go, the more you go towards producing content and being out there and doing public webinars, seminars, actually getting your face out there, to the point where that can allow you to get to those £1,000 per day contracts. That's how you would do that, and you're seen as that go-to person then at that point. So getting headhunted is about giving those tasters, so people are going on your profile, they read your profile, which is optimized, and they'll send you a message directly. Doing that, also making your profile super searchable. So making sure that you have all the right keywords on your CV as well as your LinkedIn profile. And if you have all the right keywords, they have that LinkedIn SEO, search engine optimization. So when recruiters, they search for specific keywords, you want your profile to come up. So if they're typing business analyst and click people, you want your profile to come up first. But if it doesn't say business analyst, your profile don't say that in the title section, the profile's not going to come up. So you want to max out the amount of keywords that you have, set all the right keywords, so your profile is now searchable. So that's how you would go about getting headhunted. Questions. The last two questions we have, and I'll wrap it up. So, question from Pallavi. I've started my BA career with zero knowledge, as I'm having 5 years experience in marketing, and it's been 2 weeks I've joined now. I'm better with BA knowledge. So can you suggest when I start applying for jobs? Look, Heather just she paid and she just started. She just started like literally that hour. So and she got a job within a week and a half, right? So guys, same thing. I'll be like, if you're ready, because with marketing you do have a lot of transferable skills with marketing. Depends how involved you are in marketing. If you're creating funnels, if you're working with IT to create websites and stuff, if there's certain campaigns that you're running on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Google Analytics, the data that you're viewing, you're suggesting what changes to make to convert more sales or convert more marketing campaigns and stuff like that. All that is part of BA, right? That can go in your favor. So if you're comfortable with the BA knowledge aspect of it, then start applying ASAP. You start that process. Go through on the TLA portal, go through the CV mastery module, go through LinkedIn, presentation mastery, interview mastery, go through that entire portal, and then start applying. Start sending your CV across everywhere, and attend those coaching calls to make sure that your CV is fully on point. And then, go for it. Another question: which BA technical applications are very important for career growth? Which BA technical applications are very important for career growth related to job? Can you recommend some? I'm not fully understanding the question itself. If you mean like software and stuff, then you got likes of like Jira, you got like SQL, some project management tools like Basecamp, and there's so many tools. Learning CRMs, learning coding languages. Like there's so much. Good thing with marketing is though, like you get exposed to those tools depending on there's offline marketing and there's online marketing. If you're using online marketing, you get access to so many tools. Like since I've been in business and I'm heavily involved in the marketing aspect, I've got exposure to so many tools which I wouldn't have if I didn't get into this field. Like an insane amount of tools I've had access to. And it just gives you more exposure to like knowing how to automate. What are the different automation tools that are out there? What are APIs? What is Zapier? How can I connect one application to another application? How can I streamline workflows? How can I get rid of all manual little, mundane tasks, repetitive tasks? So it's a lot of that. So if you're really involved in online marketing, you've got a lot of exposure to a lot of tools already. It's just there's different types of BA tools. Like Draw.io is good for like process mapping. Some companies use video, some companies use Draw.io. It's the same thing. Once you understand the base of it, it doesn't matter which tool you use. Companies use all sorts of different tools. So it's just that. No, I'm glad I answered the question. I hope that does answer the question. Heather, I really appreciate you joining the call. I'm just towards back into this call now, I'm just gonna briefly break down what the BA program looks like, what are the next steps. So if anybody's on this call right now and you're thinking about joining the call, how to go about doing exactly that. So guys, I'll talk to you very, very briefly about the BA program, how it works and how you guys can take advantage of it. So very, very briefly, so how the BA program works, it's a 3-stage program that we have in total. And I'll share my screen very, very briefly, just so you guys can see what it is that it looks like, how it works, and pretty much how we can help you get there in record time, because that's ultimately what we do. For us, it's important that, it's about getting the results at the end of the day. That's all we really care about. It's just getting the back-end results. And it's super achievable and very, very possible in a short amount of time if you just follow the process. Like you follow the 3-stage program, you're going to get the job. It's very simple. So I'll share my screen very briefly just now. I hope you guys can see my screen right now. Can you guys just confirm you see my screen okay? Just comment in the chat section if you guys can see my screen okay. Just comment in the chat section if you guys can see my screen okay. Yeah, oh, perfect. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Maha. Okay, so basically the way our program works, it works essentially in 3 stages. The first part of our program starts off by preparing you for one certification. So this is for anybody that's, they're on the fence of joining us right now and, they want to understand how it works. So the 3-stage program, we start off by preparing you for one certification. It's called the BCS Foundation exam. It's a 40-question exam. It's multiple choice and it's only for 1 hour. And the way we prepare you for that is you join us over a 2-day live webinar, which is an introduction into business analysis, where we talk through exactly how BA works, getting you to like an intermediate level. You understand all the investigation techniques. You understand like what swim lane diagrams are. Like you'll understand like all the theory. And after that, there's a period of self-study where you get access to our TLA portal that we have, which literally will break down, all the modules for you, all in order. From the likes of doing the BCS Foundation certificate, all the videos for it, give you all the practice paper questions, and so you get more than enough support essentially to help you pass the exam first time. Once that first stage is complete, we move to the second stage where we give you hands-on project experience. So how this works is that it's all done remotely, it's all part-time, so it won't conflict with your current commitments. So if you're working full-time, you're working 9 to 5, we understand. People have commitments, their personal commitments, their professional commitments. This will take up to 6 hours of your time in a week, all evening and all weekend based. And how it works is that once every 2 weeks, you'll be logging on to a Zoom call. On that call, there'll be the project lead and all the business analysts on that call. Everybody's going to get shown what to do and how to do it first. And then you allocate a task and you have to complete that task by the deadlines that's set. And we do this over an entire period of 3 months. And what you're learning is the full project lifecycle. So we're teaching you like the likes of how to start the project, how to plan and execute it, and how to close it down as a business analyst. At the end of the 3 months, one, you'll get the confidence, but more important, you're going to get the reference, which you can then add onto your CV. So the chance of you getting that job now is 10 times higher because you now have formal experience to back it all up. So you do this over a period of 3 months. Now, it is a national organization you'll be working for as a business analyst. So you're going to get that pure core experience. So now when you go to these interviews, you've got experience to back it all up. Now, once we move to the final stage, stage 3, now we'll give you hands-on recruitment spots. So now we're going to help get you the job. So we'll start off first with your CVs first. We have detailed videos on how to amend your CV across, and then we have these coaching calls which you can attend straight after, so you can get pure core feedback specific to your circumstance, specific to your situation. So you attend these coaching calls. And the benefit of the coaching calls is you're going to get to hear and learn about other people's experiences as well, and you can embed that. So some questions which you didn't think of, you're going to get access to those kind of questions as well, which is great because you get to understand it from different perspectives. So you're now learning a hell of a lot more. So we'll help you with the CV first. We'll show you how to transition your existing experience across to, business analysis experience. So whether you're working in admin, you're working in sales, you're working in risk, you're working in a back office, regardless of whichever job it is, we'll show you how to extract your transferable skills and how to position that across into business analysis, project management, or data analysis. We will show you how to extract that across. Once your CV is done, we'll do the same thing on your LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn's super important. Like, I genuinely believe that if you master LinkedIn, you will be okay in life. Like, once you master that tool and understand it, because that's an opportunity tool. It's a tool which exposes you to the entire world of opportunities. Every company's on there. There's no company, besides small companies, which you don't want to work for anyway. Every company's on there. So you just got to get the attention from the right companies. That's all it is. And we'll show you how to get that attention. You need to, if you're not getting attention, you're not making money. Like, you need to know how to get that attention. So we'll show you how to get headhunted. Once your CV and LinkedIn is done, we'll help you get loads of interviews booked in. We have a list of recruiters. You'll get bombarded with phone calls and interviews. As soon as the interview is secured, you join these coaching calls that we have, and we're going to prepare you for the interview. So we have a series of videos with all the interview question and answers, similar to what Heather went through. She went through all the interview question and answers, detailed, very structured. You literally just rehearse it. We give you all the answers. You just literally need to rehearse the answers, put the time in, put the work in, rehearse it, adjust it accordingly, attend the coaching calls. We'll give you very specific, structured questions that you're going to get asked based on the job spec, as well as what answers you need to give. Once you've managed to do that, and once you've got the job, we'll also give you 1 month on the job support as well. So we're going to give you that support. So once you've got the job, we give you 1 month in the job support as well. So just to make sure you have the right game plan, you know exactly what to do when you get there, and just to make sure you actually can perform and you're asking the right questions. First impressions do count. So you want to make sure you're going in with the right toolkit. You want to know, like, do they have company templates already, or are they expecting for you to provide the templates? That is a concern, right? So we help you with all that. We give you loads of templates, post-job support templates, like 20 of them. So you're going in with like a little toolkit, and it just makes your life a hell of a lot easier. And if you're coming in with like a few years experience, the bare minimum you could expect at the back of this program is a £40,000 a year job. That's the absolute bare minimum. You've got guys who on average, they're currently earning about £65,000 a year. So you've got some which go towards the low end, which is around 35, 40K. That's if you have like zero experience, and you at the back, you've done the 3-month internship, and or you've got like a year's worth of experience. So minimum experience, you're going to end up on like 35, 40K. If you've got like 5 years experience, 10 years experience, you'll end up on way more than that. So you'll be going towards around 60K mark, 65, 70K mark. Like, aim high. Like, I think that's just more of a mindset thing. What Heather said as well, she's applying to like low end jobs first based on confidence being down, so on so. But she applied for a high end job and she managed to get the job, and it was actually easier to do that compared to the low end job. Sometimes it all depends on the device that you actually receive. That can like make the biggest difference in your results. And you want to get advice from the guys that have already done it. Guys like have like been there, done that, and I've done it 100 times over. And you can see over here probably over 400 or probably 400 times over. More, it's actually more like 1,000 times over, to be honest. We've had a hell of a lot of people to like break into really high-end jobs. So what I would suggest is definitely book a call with our team. I've just dropped a link in the chat section. So if you head on over to the chat section as part of this Zoom call, if you're on Facebook, LinkedIn or Instagram, I'll drop it in the comment section very shortly. I'll drop a link to book the call in. book a call with our career coaches and we can talk you through how this 90-day course works. And it's life-changing results. The results we get, they're not typical. They're not the type of results where you're going from like a 20K job to like a 30K job. That we're not known for those results. The results we're known for is you're thinking like you're looking at 29K to like 60, 70K, 80K jobs. You're looking for really high-end jobs and quite big strides in jobs. And honestly, it's just a mindset thing. It sounds too good to be true. And we even have like back-end offers where, you know, we're working on crazy things right now. I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to like launch these other programs that we're working on in the back end, but it's going to be specifically for existing students, where we'll literally be guaranteeing like really high-end jobs. So I'm really looking forward to that. But for those that are thinking about joining, like if you're on the fence, like go through the review section, speak to some of the students if you want, reach out to them on LinkedIn, go through all our reviews, make sure you're fully happy. You've heard it from 2 students on this call today. So that should give you some reassurance to be able to secure the job itself. It's more of a mindset thing more than anything. But yeah, I've dropped the link in the chat section. So guys, feel free to book in a call to speak with a member of our team, and they'll talk you through, you know, where you're at right now and what the process looks like to become a business analyst, data analyst, or project manager. So guys, until next time, so until next week, next Wednesday, we'll be hosting another career switching workshop. Join us next Wednesday, 8 p.m. and hopefully we'll look forward to speaking to you then. Thank you all. Thank you, Heather, for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you. Bye.
No worries. Thank you. Cheers. Thanks, guys. Okay, I can see a few last minute questions that are cropping up right now. Okay, guys, I'll quickly go through this. What type of references? Written LinkedIn ones? I'm not sure what that's alluding to. What type of references? The company reference that we give you, so the 3-month experience that we give you, that's literally going to be like, it's not a LinkedIn reference. It's an actual company reference you're going to get. So you can submit to your actual company, and then, you know, provide our contact details, and we will provide a reference that you worked on a 3-month project working as a business analyst. So we will do that. Should I avoid entry-level and junior roles paying under 30K, even if my experience is limited? It just depends on how much experience you have. If you have like a couple of years experience, then, you know, roles which are around 35K, 40K, go for those roles. Don't exclude them completely, because we want to build at least, you know, 4 or 5 years of experience. But ultimately, like, I think what I would do if you have limited experience is go through the presentation mastery module. So if you're a student right now, Anonymous, go through the presentation mastery in the TLA portal, go through that, master that, and go to the interview with that module. And I promise you, like, everyone that's done that, they get the job straight away. And they go for high-end jobs, because people who have 10 years of experience, they're not willing to do a presentation. They're not willing to go out of the way. Like, you have to show and demonstrate like what you bring to the table. And if you make it tangible in the form of a presentation, you're going to get the job. Like, it's such a powerful technique. You do that, you will get the job. So do that. And that should help you go for like a few more of those high-end roles. I hope that answers the question. So guys, yeah, until next time, I'll see you guys next Wednesday, 8 p.m.